You have $2,600 and nobody knows. Not your coworkers, not your family, not the cashier at the grocery store you go to every Tuesday who has seen you check your phone and put something back on the shelf. You are not rich. You are just building something nobody can see yet. And the most unsettling part, you built it on $50 a week. Not a raise, not a side hustle, not a windfall that changed the math overnight, just $50 every Monday moved automatically before you could spend it. That is it. And somewhere in the last 12 months, a version of you opened a banking app and looked at a number that had not existed a year before. This is that story. And it started on a night when you had $41 in your account, and a promise to yourself that next month would be different. Because nobody saw it coming. Not even you, not fully, on the night you sat at your kitchen table doing the same math you always do, the rent and the car and the groceries and the phone, and told yourself the same thing you always tell yourself: $50 is not enough to matter. Here is the thing about that thought. It is the most expensive thought you have ever had, because $50 a week, left completely alone for 12 months, is $2,600. Without changing your job, without changing your life, without a single thing shifting except one automatic transfer you set up once and never touch again. Most people will never start because they are waiting for an amount that feels like it matters. They are waiting for the version of their life where saving is easy. That version is not coming. What is coming is Monday, and Monday is $50, and that is exactly enough. Let me show you what 12 months of it actually looks like. Go back to month 1. You wake up on a Monday morning. You are heading to work. You are driving the same route you always drive, past the same coffee shop, the same traffic light that takes forever, the same billboard you have read so many times you stopped seeing it. Nothing about this Monday feels different from last Monday, but something is different. Last night you opened a new savings account. A separate one, not the one attached to your checking, not the one you dip into every time something comes up. A separate account at a different bank. You set up an automatic transfer, $50, every Monday. Gone before you can think about it. You did not feel it when you set it up. You will not feel it when it leaves. That is exactly the point. Because here is the first thing you need to understand about saving money when you do not have much of it. Willpower does not work. Willpower is a resource. It runs out. You use it at work, in traffic, at the dinner table, in every small decision you make from the moment you wake up. By the time you sit down at night and think about whether to move $50 into savings, willpower has already been spent by 100 other things. Automation removes willpower from the equation entirely. The money moves before your brain gets involved. Your personal savings rate just changed without you feeling it. That is not a trick. That is how saving money actually works for people who are not wealthy yet. Your $50 is already moving, and you did not even have to think about it. It is now week 3. You are standing in line at lunch, looking at your phone. You open your savings account. $150? You almost laugh. You have had $150 before. Many times. It never felt like anything. But this time something is different, and you are trying to figure out why. Here is why. Before, that money lived in the same account as your rent, your groceries, your gas. It was always one bad week away from vanishing. It was not really savings. It was money that had not been spent yet. Now it is sitting somewhere your spending cannot reach it. It is untouched. It is yours in a way that money has never quite been yours before. Most budgeting for beginners advice gets this completely wrong. They tell you to track every dollar, build spreadsheets, use complicated systems. You try. It works for 2 weeks. Life happens. The system collapses. The real foundation of saving money is not a spreadsheet. It is separation. Your savings need to live somewhere your spending cannot touch them. That is the whole system. You are already doing it. Month 2. You are at a friend's birthday dinner. The bill comes. It is more than you expected. You put in your share, you drive home, and you feel the familiar tightness, the mental math running automatically, the calculation of what is left and what needs to stretch. You open your banking app. Checking account, lower than you would like. Savings account, $400. You feel something you have not felt in a long time. You feel like you have a buffer, not a big one, but a real one. And here is what that buffer is actually doing. It is not just sitting there. It is changing how you make every decision. When you have zero savings, every unexpected expense is a crisis. Your car makes a sound, crisis. Your phone screen cracks, crisis. Someone gets sick, crisis. Each one sends you backward. You borrow, or you put it on a card, or you drain the account you were protecting, and you spend the next 3 weeks recovering just to get back to where you were. Most budgeting advice for beginners skips this part entirely. It tells you to save but never explains what savings actually protects you from. What you are building right now is your first real emergency fund. That word gets thrown around a lot, but here is what an emergency fund actually does. It is not for emergencies. It is for the version of you who would have gone backward without it. When you have $400, some of those crises stop being crises. They become inconveniences. And an inconvenience you can absorb is not a sitback. It is just a Tuesday. Every dollar in that account is a dollar that is not going to a late fee, not going to an overdraft charge, not going to a credit card at 20% interest because you had no other option. Your $400 is not wealth yet, but it is protection. And protection is where wealth starts. Month 3. You are sitting in your car outside your apartment. You have just come back from the grocery store. The same Tuesday evening, the same 2 bags. But you are not the same person. You open your savings account. $600. You think about the version of you 3 months ago sitting at the kitchen table with $41. You think about how close you were to just not starting, how easy it would have been to wait 1 more month. And you realize something. The $50 was never about the $50. It was about proving to yourself that you could do something consistently. For 3 months you have shown up. Not perfectly. There was the week you almost moved the money back because rent felt tight. There was the birthday dinner. There was the car sound. But the $50 moved every Monday. And now you have $600 that did not exist before. You did not get a raise. You did not win anything. You did not find a side hustle that changed your life overnight. You just decided that $50 a week was not optional. And your brain is beginning to understand something new about you. You are someone who saves money. That identity shift, quiet, invisible, with no announcement, is worth more than the $600. Because the $600 will grow, but only if the person who built it keeps going. And you are going to keep going. But month 5 changes the math in a way you are not expecting. Month 5, you are walking past a store window. There is something in the display you have wanted for a while. Not a luxury, just something you have been putting off because the money was never there. You stop. You reach into your pocket. You open your banking app. Savings account $1,100. You do the math. You could buy it right now. But something unexpected happens. You do not want to. Not because you cannot afford it, but because you have watched that number grow for 5 months. You know how long it took to build. You know what it cost, not in dollars, but in the Tuesday evenings when you did the math, felt the tightness, and still left the $50 alone. This is the thing nobody includes in money-saving tips. They talk about the numbers. They never talk about the psychology. The psychology is everything. When you have nothing saved, money feels like water. It arrives, it drains, and you watch it go. When you have something saved, even something small, money starts to feel like a tool. Something you aim, something you control. Building wealth is not just about accumulating dollars, it is about becoming the kind of person who thinks about money differently. You are becoming that person right now. You close the app, you walk past the store window, you keep walking. Month 7, you are at work. Someone mentions they are going on vacation next month. 2 weeks ago, you would have felt that familiar sting, the quiet reminder of the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Today you feel something different. You pull out your phone. You open your savings account. $1,600. You look at that number. And for the first time you think you could actually plan for something like that. Not next week, not tomorrow. But you can see how it works now. You understand in a way you never have before how money accumulates. Not through luck, not through income alone. Not through some trick nobody told you about. Through a Monday transfer that happens while you are drinking your first cup of coffee. That is it. That is the whole thing. This is what building wealth looks like at the beginning. It does not look like a big moment. It does not feel like a breakthrough. It feels like nothing. Until one day it feels like everything. You look up flights, not to book, just to look, just to feel what it feels like to look at something and know that you could plan for it. That feeling, that specific feeling, is the first real glimpse of financial freedom. Not the destination, the beginning. But it is month 9 where you understand something you cannot unlearn. Month 9, you are at a family gathering. You are sitting at the table and someone is talking about money the way people who are stressed about money talk, in circles, in complaints, in the language of someone who feels like they have no control. You know that language. You used to be fluent in it. You sit quietly. You feel your phone in your pocket. You feel the weight of knowing something they do not. Not arrogance, just the specific quiet of someone who is no longer in the water, watching someone else drown in the same current they escaped. You know without checking that you have almost $2,000 in savings. You know that nobody at this table can see it. Nobody knows. And that, the invisibility of it, does not feel like a secret. It feels like something solid, something that belongs entirely to you. This is what building wealth quietly actually means. It is not about hiding your money from people. It is about building something real while the people around you are still waiting for the perfect moment to start. You know the perfect moment was 9 months ago. You know the second best moment is always right now. The conversation around the table keeps going. You listen. You smile. You say nothing. You already started. Month 12. You are sitting at that same kitchen table. The same one where you sat a year ago with $41 in your account and a promise to yourself that next month would be different. You open your banking app, savings account, $2,600. You sit with that number, $2,600. You built that on $50 a week. You built it while paying rent, while buying groceries, while going to birthday dinners and dealing with car sounds and getting through the weeks that felt too tight to breathe. You built it without a windfall, without a raise, without anything changing except one decision on a Tuesday night at your kitchen table. And here is the thing nobody ever tells you about the first year of saving money: the money matters. But it is the smallest thing you built. You built a system. You built a money habit that survived inconvenience, temptation, and 100 moments when you could have stopped and nobody would have known. You built a new identity. You are not someone who is going to start saving money someday. You are someone who saves money. And that person, the one sitting at the kitchen table right now, has a different future ahead of them than the one who was sitting there a year ago. Not because of $2,600, because of what that number proves. $50 a week for a year is $2,600. $100 a week is $5,200. Every raise, every bonus, every extra hour, every dollar you choose to redirect compounds the money habit you have already built. The machine is running. You just have to keep feeding it. Here is what I want you to take from this. You are not waiting for your income to double. You are not waiting for your debt to disappear. You are not waiting for the perfect moment, because you know where waiting leads. You have seen it. You lived it. The person who starts saving $50 a week today is not rich by next year, but they are different. They are someone who knows that wealth is not an event. It is a direction, and the direction starts tonight, at whatever kitchen table you are sitting at, with whatever number is on your screen right now. The amount does not matter as much as the decision. Open a separate account, not the one attached to your checking, a different one. Set a transfer for whatever number you can sustain. Maybe it is $50, maybe it is $30, maybe it is $70. Make it automatic, make it Monday, and then do not touch it. Not next week when it feels tight, not next month when something comes up, because something will always come up. And the people who build wealth, quietly, without anyone seeing it coming, are the ones who let the money move anyway. That is you now. You already started.